Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. I'm your host, Steve Ricardo. We're back here at the New Alliance Music and Art Complex in Union Square, Somerville, Mass. We have Diamond Danny on the engineering board filling in for Herb once again this week. I did speak to Herb during the week, and he seemed a little bit burnt. The man has been working on the upcoming primaries. Speaking of primaries and elections, please get out there and vote. I already voted. You have that right, and no one can take it away, and that's about as political as I will get on this show. Joining us this week, we have the fantastic local Boston musician, Mel Lederman, who's in one of Boston's finest indie rock bands, Victory at Sea, and has also played and toured as a solo artist, and for many years joined Talia Zedek, one of my all-time favorite musicians out of the Boston scene. By the way, I was a regular Dangerous Birds fan in the early 80s when Talia was playing in that band, long before she formed the band Come, which is probably her most famous project. Joining Mel today on the show is the lovely Michelle Wan and Chewy. If you're watching it on video, you'll be able to see Chewy. And I believe that they might have some exciting news for us. So please... Oh, actually, let me do one more thing before we bring them on. I want to thank our patrons who have been supporting this podcast with their generous monthly contributions on the Patreon page, which is www.patreon.com/twistedrico. You too can join Dave, Maria, Lee, Chad, Chris, Heather, Sue, Matt, Ellie, Chris P., Andy, and Kim, and become part of the cool Blowing Smoke Kids Club. They're not kids, but I call them kids. But now please welcome Michelle and Mel and Chewy to the Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico podcast. How you guys doing?
Hi, we're good.
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. I know we've talked about getting you on the show for a while, Mel, so I'm happy. And you brought the lovely Michelle Wan with you today, and Chewy. I don't know if Chewy's on the camera, but... he's a cute little doggy.
Yeah.
He's a Chorky.
I love animals, so I'm happy to have him here.
He's like a therapy dog. It's very good to have him.
I feel like my therapy, he's looking at me right now, and I feel like the therapy's working on me. So
the puppy eyes therapy.
Yeah.
So Mel, if I'm wrong about any of this, please correct me. But I believe you spent 10 years as the bass player in Victory at Sea. Was it about 10 years?
Actually, I was in Victory at Sea for 12 years, and I was the bass player, and then I switched to piano in the early 2000s. I played bass on tour on some of our older songs, so I switched between piano and bass. But yeah, it was 12 years.
They didn't incorporate the piano in until the end?
Yeah, it was like our last two records, Memories Fade and All Your Things Are Gone, that I became the piano player. And the reason I became the piano player is because Talia Zedek basically pushed me towards piano, and then I wanted to do it in the band. Yeah, I was playing it with Talia and Victory at Sea at the same time. Yeah.
Wow, how many years did you do that with both bands?
Well, Victory at Sea, it was about 6 years that I was the piano player primarily, but I was playing with Talia for 20 years.
20 years?
20 years,
wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
I'm not a young buck anymore.
Well, Michelle and Danny are here. They're the young ones, so I'm with you, Mel.
I'm like that young.
Michelle's not that young. She just looks really young.
Well, she looks really young to me, so I'm not gonna. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, you look great.
Thank you.
Okay, so you played on you released 7 records. Victory at Sea released 7 records and toured relentlessly.
And 2 singles too.
2 singles as well.
Yeah.
What was it like for you to be in a band that long, and how do you look back at that experience now? Because Victory at Sea was a pretty well-known indie rock band. You know, they were more probably famous out of Boston than they were in Boston, and they were a Boston band.
Well, honestly, I had a really good time playing in Victory at Sea, and it was my life, and we toured 6 months out of the year. And basically,
That's America and Europe?
Yeah, America and Europe. Mostly, we did pretty well in Europe. We did U.S. tours that were 6 weeks long. That we would do, people's basements in Sioux Falls, stuff like that, Lincoln.
You slept on a lot of floors, I bet.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, we stayed in a lot of Motel 6s because I'm not going to torture myself, But it was really good. I look back on it fondly. I was married to the guitar player for the last 2 years of Victory at Sea, and honestly, we probably should have broke up instead of got married. But things happen.
Yeah,
so
it happens.
there you go.
Things do happen.
Yeah.
How old
But
were you?
I still love her though. She's a fantastic songwriter and singer, and
Mona, you're talking about.
yeah.
And she was in Spore before she was in
Yeah,
Victory
I
at
had a
Sea.
huge crush on her when she was in that
Oh.
band. Yeah,
Yeah, our
Yeah.
friend Chris Negrete was the drummer
yeah,
of that
I'm
band.
good friends with Chris.
Yeah, Chris was in Cage Teeth, so I worked with him a while.
Oh
for
right,
a while.
that's right. Yeah, with Chili.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's when the lineup was Kate Friend, Chili Kurtz, and
I love
Chris.
Kate Friend. She's great too.
That version only recorded 4 songs together, but those 4 songs are great
Very
songs.
good. Very good.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
So I have to bring this up because I know I've told you that I love the Carousel record,
Thank you.
Victory at Sea Carousel record, and I have to ask you this about the chorus of women on the song "The Open Road." Were you there for that scene? And what was that like for people
Oh
that don't
yeah,
know?
I was sitting in the recording booth, and it was my heart was about to break. It
For
was-
people that don't know what we're
beautiful.
talking about,
Yeah.
explain
I have
what
no
happened.
idea.
So we had like basically every like amazing woman in the Boston music scene come in, and we sat them down in front of a bunch of microphones, and we just it's like repeating the chorus over and over, and we just had them sing on it, and it was
I remember some of them. Talia Zedek,
Yeah.
Heidi Saperstein was there. The
Yeah.
McLaughlin sisters,
Yeah.
Kate and Megan. Who?
yeah.
There were more, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of people. It was like so long ago. Like I'll have to like get back to you on.
That
who
was like
there,
kid-
but it was my heart was like on fire. It was like this is
Aw.
the best thing.
I
I've
wish
ever
I was there
seen.
for that.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
That was
Oh.
like
We had Andy Hong. We had Kevin Micah recording.
it was on Kimchi, right? Kimchi
yeah,
Records,
Kimchi
yeah.
Records, yeah. Andy
Um,
Hong's label.
Is there
I'm
any
good-
like videos of it?
No, because this was like before everybody had video on their
Ah,
phone.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there were even that many cell phones around. What was that, 2004 or something?
No, it was 2001 actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes
Well, I've got a
sense.
little surprise for you because
Oh,
I found a review
Right.
of Carousel on Pitchfork, and I have to read it
Really?
for our listeners because this is one of the coolest
He's
reviews
getting
I've ever
nervous
seen.
now.
You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. Okay, ready? Elliot's. They're talking about
Mona.
Mona Elliott. Elliot's voice also reminds us of a sweeter Talia Zedek, short of a few thousand packs of cigarettes. Turns out to be an appropriate connection. Letterman played piano on Zedek's Been Here and Gone, and Zedek returns the favor in the company of a chorus of women for the conclusion of The Open Road. Moore, Finn, right?
Yeah,
Finn Moore,
Finn
the
Moore.
drummer.
Finny,
And I agree
yeah.
with this, his drumming on that
Oh,
record.
he's great. He's like Keith Moon.
Yeah, Moore proves his oh my God, I can't say the word. I can't pronounce the word. It's a compliment.
do it.
Skill on this song, cycling through a series of rolls and crashes like an 8-armed Vedic god. His propulsion and only enhanced by the brooding plot of the bass. The sun hit the windshield like a rock from the sky, Elliot remembers, her only lyric in the song. Then the inevitable pause, patience, and the soaring chorus and climax that never fails to send a chill up my spine. Honestly, I feel the same way about that
Really?
as the writer. When
But the thing is, the sun actually hit the windshield like a rock from the sky. We had a cracked window. That actually happened.
Wow.
Yeah. We spent so much time on the road. It was crazy. But like we were driving and there was like sun coming up. We were driving west and next thing you know, cracked window. It was sort of poetic, I think.
But I had to bring that up because I
Yeah.
got to tell you, I'm not familiar with every song on
That's a
every
good review.
victory. I know that was
didn't read that one.
Pitchfork.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pitchfork magazine.
They're hipsters.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so.
Hipsters. I I mean, after all that, like, beautiful, elegant review, you're just calling them hipsters.
I'm sorry, guys. Thank you for the nice review.
So was it?
Guys,
My next question was gonna be, was it hard moving away from that project? But now that you already explained that you actually were married, that probably made it.
well, I'm gonna tell you, Steve. It was actually very hard to move away from that project because that was my life for a very long time, and I was heartbroken. And when Mona and I split up on the end of a European tour, we played one show in Bremen, Germany, flew home, had a talk, and I just flew to LA. I spent a week in LA, or a little over a week, and I just disappeared.
And that was the end of it.
That was it. Yeah.
Well, bands end in strange ways. There's no doubt about it. I didn't mean to get anyone emotional. I'm getting emotional right now.
I mean, it was a long time ago now,
But
it's all good now.
I
It's
always
fine.
respected that band, even though I
Thank
wasn't a huge fan and wasn't at. I didn't see the band live. I only heard the.
You never saw us live?
I never saw Victory at Sea,
That's a
Why not?
shame.
unfortunately.
Really?
I haven't
You haven't seen
You
us?
guys always played like weekday shows in Boston, like
Because
under
we
the
were
radar.
in Boston, we're nothing. We're like undercover.
Like-
but when we went to Europe, we'd like headline
Right.
like beautiful shows in Berlin or Madrid or Lyon, France.
I always-
Houseboat,
I use bands like that as an example when I managed bands. Like, you got to get out of here, man. You
Yeah,
can't
you gotta
just
get out of
play
Boston.
the Middle East in Cambridge once a month, and that's your music career
Yeah,
right
you
there.
can't do it.
And that's pretty much what you didn't do. I think this is a good time right now to play a song from Mel's solo record, I'm Ghosts. This is on the. You can find this on the Midriff Records, right?
Yeah, Midriff
The
Records.
Midriff.
Cameron Tiber from Eldridge Rodriguez, The Beatings, and Clayton, his brother. Great band.
Yeah, that's a decent label. And this track is called Restaurant. And Danny, we're going to spin it right now, and away we go.
Are you getting sick of trying? Does everything keep going wrong? Back in the old days, you used to make yourself feel better with a simple act of working on a song. Another feel-bad summer hit. Another song about how you miss some past girlfriend and how you can't get over it. And you're sitting in massive traffic covered in sweat. After working all day in a restaurant, wishing that this summer would end. Yeah, you're sitting in massive traffic covered in sweat. After working all day in a restaurant, wishing that this summer would end.
song's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, you have a couple of guests on there. Ian Adams, who's
Yeah,
in a
we
ton
went to
of
art
bands.
school like at the same time. He went to Mass Art. I went to the School of Museum of Fine Arts. So we knew each other from Mission
We're
Hill.
like right next door.
Yeah, it was. We all lived on Mission Hill.
And you also have Boston's alt country female sensation Sarah Borges.
who's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I was doing a band with her, Ian Adams, Cameron Kyber from the Beatings, and Eldridge Rodriguez, who runs Midriff, and my old guitar player Mike Joy was playing drums, and it was called No Love, and it would have been the best band.
what happened?
In the well, what happened is everybody has kids in other bands. It just, we were doing a good thing, but we just never could get it off the ground because
Stupid
Those
kids.
all-star bands are always hard
Kids
to
were
like.
everything.
it was
pull
like
together.
a super group. It was really like fantastic. I really wish we released something.
What's going on with your solo career now? I mean, you got 2 records, right?
Yeah, I have 2. I have a third record that I recorded with David Grabowski, who's actually the keyboard player and bass player for Eldridge Rodriguez. And I love the record, but my former guitar
Mike.
player, Mike Joy, and former drummer, Sean Mullen, didn't like the record, and it never got released. But
Oh.
I have a million songs. I moved to West Warwick, Rhode Island. I live in the woods between a river and a lake. And I was like trying to have a relaxing life and do solo stuff. But my parents are very old, so
You moved back up here.
yeah. Well, I still have my apartment in Rhode Island, but I'm mostly in Brookline, Massachusetts, where I grew up. Just helping out my mother with Alzheimer's nowadays.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
I know that you had raccoons living in the attic for a while.
Yeah, some-
I did follow
They were
that.
big.
I did follow that episode on Facebook while that was
Oh
happening.
my god!
Yeah.
Tell that story of your neighbor.
Oh yeah, so I met the neighbor and she was like, "Hey, so you got a dumpster?" And I was like, "This is my 11th dumpster." And she was like, "So, there was this really cute raccoon living in your attic," and I was like, "Really?" And she showed me a picture, and it's the biggest raccoon I've ever seen. It's like the size of a bear.
City raccoons get
And it was
big.
broad daylight. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, I've seen some shit. Pardon my French. I don't know if I'm allowed to
Oh,
swear on
people's-
internet.
People swear on blowing smoke with
Okay.
Twisted Rico
Okay.
all the time. It's,
Yeah.
it's
It's
unavoidable.
been really like a very interesting experience because my dad was a collector and now I'm in the antiques business. It's been pretty fun. Like, there's some interesting characters. It's almost
Oh,
like
yeah.
touring as a musician. Like
Wow.
I spent a lot of time on the road, like doing antiques business, metals business, all sorts of
Nice.
like stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool, man. I kind of skipped over something. I meant to talk to you about
Okay.
Talia because I know you played with her for a long time. I always refer to her as the great Talia Zedek.
She is the great
Yeah,
Talia.
she is, and I love her. I mean, like I said in the opening, I used to go to Storyville, especially
Yeah, I know story.
in Kenmore Square.
Yeah.
I had 2 Dangerous Bird shirts that I made myself.
Wow.
I was like
That's
literally a
something.
groupie.
Wow.
And this is when I was like 19 or 20 years old and in college. I loved that band because I was kind of a walking emergency myself. Maybe you'll get
Wait, you?
that. That song "Walking Emergency."
Yeah,
I love
I
that.
got that
And,
reference.
Lori Green was the other singer in the band. I can't remember the names of the other 2
Right.
women in the band, but they were probably one of the first cool all-female bands, in the independent rock scene
Yeah.
at that time, And
Definitely.
I love it. So what was it like playing with Talia? And you still do occasionally, right?
Yeah, no, it was great playing with Talia. I got to like tour the world. She's like a sister to me. I still play with Talia. We sort of took a break from each other because I think I'm a little bit intense. And maybe I drove her a little crazy because I kept talking. Maybe I snored a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, like she said, it was just for the tour.
Michelle's like double. She's multitasking here.
Oh yeah.
She's tweeting and
I'm not
Facebooking and
tweeting.
Instagramming.
She doesn't tweet.
And
I don't need to Facebook really.
are you giving a blow by blow right now of our interview on
No,
Facebook?
no, not really. I mean, I wish I was that useful, but
Oh, you're pretty useful.
We're gonna get to you. We're gonna get to you. We're
Here's
gonna
the
go.
thing about Talia. She's like a sister to me. I'll probably always, even if I don't do every single tour, which I have since, I mean, Victory at Sea and Talia overlap, so I didn't do every tour at the time, but I love everybody in that band dearly. David Michael Curry, the viola player, is one of my dearest friends. I love Winston, the bass player. I don't even, I've never even played with our new drummer, Gavin McCarthy, but he was in karate, and I've known him forever.
Chris Brokaw.
Yeah, well, Chris isn't, he's never really been in Talia's band, but
Oh,
I
he
do
only
love
played in
Chris.
Come.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
But he played with us before, and honestly, like, I'll, like, always be associated with her. I think, like, she's family, you know?
That's
She's
good,
like your
man.
fairy godmother.
She's like my fairy godmother.
Very good.
You hear that, Talia?
I think she heard that because I heard it. Well, maybe you could pull some strings and we can get Talia on the Blowing Smoke
think I
with
could
Twisted
probably do
Rico
that.
podcast because I would love to interview her.
Oh
on
yeah,
the show.
absolutely. I mean, she'd be happy to do that. She's the sweetest lady.
Is she touring a lot now?
She does a lot of solo stuff lately, and yeah, she went to Japan recently. She was in Europe solo. She's always touring.
I probably shouldn't bring this up because if she hears this, she might ask me about this. But I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up anyways because my old friends at WDJM in Framingham remember this.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a song about Talia Zedek.
Did you really?
On acoustic guitar, and we put it on a cart. Remember those carts in college
Yeah, the
radio?
carts.
And we used to play, and we played it on the air, and people just badgered me for that.
What?
You know?
Really?
Well, no, that I worked with. They're like, "Oh, you're in love with Talia
Oh,
Zedek."
that.
Well,
Okay.
everybody was
Oh.
in love with Talia Zedek, and they still are.
Yeah, it was between Talia Zedek and Judy Grunwald. Back then, Judy Grunwald from Salem '66.
Not
because,
Amy Mann.
Amy, I saw. The Young Snakes were pre Till Tuesday. Yeah, they were all. Boss, we're talking like what, 81, 82?
I was a kid.
83,
I was
something like that.
very good friends of one of my best friends is Stephanie Holmes, who's Robert Holmes' sister.
Oh yeah, Robert
So,
Holmes,
yeah,
the androgynous guitar
yeah,
player
I
of Till
love
Tuesday.
him. He's a sweetheart.
So Michelle's here, and there's a rumor, or maybe I'm starting the rumor now,
Okay.
that you guys might actually be doing a project together, and that's why Michelle's here.
Wait, what?
You just confused her. Well, I have a plan.
You have a plan.
Apparently,
That like.
apparently he didn't tell you about the plan. He told me.
I mean, well, I do like surprises, so yeah. Where is this process?
Dueling-
Here's the thing. I'm basically a cabaret singer at this point.
Okay.
And one night I was out with Michelle, and we were at karaoke, and she did a song from Chicago,
Oh yeah.
and I was thinking in the back of my head.
the
I
band
was like,
Chicago or the Broadway
Oh, the
play
Broadway,
Chicago?
Broadway.
yeah.
I was
Oh, I
like,
thought she did 25 or
No,
624.
I'm not that
or...
cool. I just sing like show tunes, like.
I'm not that
that's not that cool. So anyway,
You're pretty cool, Michelle.
Thank you.
I think she's all right. So anyway,
We were
Right.
friends on Facebook, and we didn't ever even met
I
until
know.
recently. I have good taste. I find good people to become
You do.
friends with on Facebook. We had a lot of mutual friends. That's probably why we connected.
Right.
Of course. But anyway, we were out at karaoke, and Michelle was doing Chicago, all that jazz. And I thought in the back of my head, I'm going to be a cabaret singer. And Michelle's going to sing too, and it's going to be a smoky room. We're going to have a red velvet curtain, cigarette holders.
Oh, that
It's
would
gonna
be
be-
cool.
There's going to be people with Tommy guns standing outside.
Like
It's going
that.
to be brilliant.
I love that you're breaking this news, and Michelle doesn't even realize
I know.
this
She
is
doesn't
in the
even know.
project.
I'll just go. I just go with them. I'm like, okay, well.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Also, the thing is, she's a damn good piano player.
Oh,
Better than me.
we're- No, that's not true at all.
That's totally true. You can read music. I can't
dueling
even remember how to
pianos.
read music.
Oh, huh?
I can't even remember how to read music.
That's so easy.
It's
Reading
easy.
Music. Yeah. It's
So
like-
the thing is, I'm gonna have Michelle. I'm gonna be playing piano, and she's gonna be singing and doing her thing. And then when I go out in the audience crooning at
She's gonna play.
women, she's gonna pick up the piano. It's gonna be damn good.
So-
I'm so excited.
Sounds
for
good to
this.
me, Danny. What do you think?
And I got a
Danny
thumbs
gave
up.
it the thumbs up.
I'm getting a drummer with a cocktail
Wait,
kit.
so is this a big project to pick up women?
Well,
Is this a project to pick up women for you or him?
Wait,
I'm
what?
confused by
I
it.
mean,
Both of us.
for both of us. Yeah.
I think you need a manager.
Yeah, for both of us.
I will manage the project because I like to pick up women
Okay,
too.
Oh,
you should
yeah.
come with us. Do
That's
you want to manage that?
I don't
You
get
are a
lucky as
manager.
I used to, but occasionally I get lucky. I did a couple weeks ago.
I do pretty
Probably
good.
shouldn't announce that on the air.
No, that's fine.
It's fine.
When you get old, you know, and you're single, you know,
Yeah.
you just things happen sometimes.
You
and
gotta tell the world that you're available.
What you gotta do
I think
is
I
hang
just
out,
did, Michelle.
You gotta hang out at airport bars. That's what you
Airport
gotta
bars,
do.
yeah.
I don't know with the coronavirus out there now. I don't
Uh,
know if I want to go near airports
Right.
That's okay. Just order yourself an Amstel Light
instead of a
Fine.
Corona.
Yeah, apparently alcohol is like a good remedy against coronavirus.
Yeah, I noticed
Oh.
you guys have alcohol, but you didn't bring me any. But that's
Oh, no,
okay.
we
Oh,
do.
there's-
Yeah, we
Oh,
brought you
I-
some
You
beer.
wanna-
Oh my god! Oh,
Yeah, we got-
I'm not really a big drinker though. Like, I just
why
try
don't we
to, like,
save this for
keep it.
later? Drink it in Alvin's office. I want to talk about a couple other things, and I'm going
Of
to
course.
say goodbye to you. But I got to make an announcement here before I forget. If you're in the Somerville area, like right around here, New Alliance has an art show every month which features a plethora of great artists. And I am very proud to announce that during the month of March, yours truly is part of the group art show entitled Ancient Future Present. And these are the artists in the show. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you
awesome.
very much.
That's great.
The artists featured are John Adams Fahey, Alvin Long, John Guthrie, Carl Restano, Addie Sun, Ruby Valdez, the great Wayne Valdez, and of course Dave Tree and yours truly. There will be a party on Thursday, March 5th, which this podcast should be out a couple of days before then. So you know it's not too late to announce it. At the New Alliance Gallery, right outside this door, with live music by The Shallows and Lazy Magnet. Needless to say, I'm very excited about this. I have a bunch of abstract acrylic pieces in the show that are all for sale, by the way. If you have any money, bring it. You can, if you can't make the party, you can come by any time because the art's going to be up there the whole month of May. This is one of the things that makes this place and the people around here so cool.
I
mean,
That's
New
great
Alliance
hair.
parties.
here we are in
Like,
2020, and many of the same people that have been the driving forces behind the Boston music and art scene are still doing it right here in this
Yeah,
building.
It's great.
And I
waking up.
can tell you from a personal perspective, I love coming here to this building every week, recording the show, and hanging out with Alvin Long and all my
Yeah.
friends. You guys are in there all the
Love
time
Alvin.
at the Curve of the Earth office.
Yeah.
So, one last thing, I want to thank our sponsor, JLS Design. They're located at 187 Main Street, Leicester, Cherry Valley section of Worcester. They do custom screen printing and embroidery. It's a great place for bands. Maybe you guys can go there and get some of your new T-shirts, hats, hoodies for your new band.
Absolutely.
If you contact them and you tell them that Twisted Rico sent you, 10% discount.
Nice.
And I will personally give you a special gift if you do that.
Really?
And I'm
Okay.
not kidding.
Yeah, I'll do that. Totally.
I want to
like
thank
gifts.
I want to
Yeah,
thank
me
you
too.
guys for coming.
Thank you
on
for
the show.
having
Yeah,
us.
thank
I
you so
really
much.
appreciate it. My email address is twistedrico@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at twistedrico, and also find us on YouTube, where we've been getting a pretty good response lately. Please send me your comments, questions, etc., and check out the Patreon page where you can sponsor us for only $1 a month. This is Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. I'm your host, Steve Ricardo. Until the next time we say goodbye, we love you, Busy Phillips, and we're going to keep the rock and roll alive. Peace.